Hi everyone, it's Brittany at NGN. I am here with Pete Hines. I am so excited. Elder Scrolls Legends. Why a card game?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's not the first thing you think of when you think of Bethesda's strategy card game. I'm a fan of strategy card games, so I play a lot of Magic, which is this amazing card game, but it's also based in a world that's really well thought out in terms of why things are the way they are and how those are brought to life in the cards and sort of the different sets you play. And so we like that idea of, just like with Fallout Shelter and taking Fallout and maybe taking a little bit of a right turn with something that folks weren't expecting, that a strategy card game, we had some ideas that we thought were unique and different in what Direwolf wanted to do and how they wanted to approach it. And since I've been at Bethesda for almost 17 years, I felt like it was about time that I got to push for a project that I wanted to make that maybe wasn't something that we would have normally done, and they said okay. And so yeah, it's been a really fun process of working with that team and sort of evolving it and having it feel Elder Scrolls enough for Elder Scrolls fans. But if you play strategy card games on a PC, or we're going to be bringing it to mobile devices as well, that it stands on its own as a good strategy card game.
And something I love about it that's different than Hearthstone is that there's still a morale decision that you can make throughout the campaign that affects your deck. Right?
Yeah. So as you're playing through, so you start off in a story mode that begins as a tutorial, but we tell a story of these characters as you're kind of moving through the world, and you're meeting new characters and unlocking their decks. And at various points, we give you decisions you have to make about. You'll have a chapter where you fight a pack of wolves, and you're playing all the cards that the AI plays are wolves and wolf themed. And when you win, you get this. The video sort of tells you we found this wolf pup. And one of the characters says, and what did they decide to do with it? And you get a choice to either kill the pup or to spare it, and you get a different card based on which choice you make, which sort of evolves and changes the deck that you're building as you're playing through into, well, I care more about doing this, or if you're like me, you just decide I could never, be mean to a wolf, and so I'm gonna hold on to it, or I'm not gonna get rid of it. And you get that choice along the way, but they're also not. This is a big thing for us, if you've played Morrowind and Oblivion, is that you don't make a choice that locks you out forever. So the other card that you don't get, it's not like you can't ever get that card. You can open it in packs or craft it or whatever. But in that moment, you feel like as you're building and getting your very first cards, that you're making some choices that are changing what you get to do and what you get to play. And I think that kind of choice in all the different little ways that we can introduce it into Legends is important to make it feel Elder Scrolls. And then you lay on top of that all the things like there's Gwar cards and mud crabs and Wabbajack and all of these different items and creatures and characters, Lucian the Chance and all of that stuff that makes it the world of the Elder Scrolls come to life even more.
And also something else that you don't see really in card games right now, you added a bit of luck to it in a very competitive card game by adding runes and prophecy cards.
Yeah.
And so what went behind that decision to kind of throw off the competitiveness?
Sure. Well, the idea is that both players start at 30 health, but every 5 points of health for both players, so 25, 20, 15, 10, and 5, when you take that much damage, you break a rune and you draw a card off of it. So first of all, as you're getting beat up, right, you're getting closer and closer to dying, you're drawing extra resources that may help you get back into the game, right? Maybe the problem is you've got a bunch of expensive cards and you break a couple of runes because your opponent is attacking you, and you get a couple of cheaper ones to play that sort of get you back into the match. And then you also have this prophecy mechanic, which says if you draw this card because you drew it off of a rune breaking, you can play it for free. So not only did you get to draw a card, but you get to play it on your opponent's turn and sort of completely stop or change what their strategy is while they're playing. Maybe you get a creature with guard that says creatures have to attack me down this lane before they can attack the player, and now your opponent's creatures, they're all going to die if they attack into this card. Or you get a card that allows you to do a bunch of damage or to kill a creature and kind of blow up their plan. So it makes games more competitive. It makes you think more about what you're going to do, because as you're attacking your opponent, you're giving them these cards they're going to get to draw, which might help them get back into the game. So it's that layer of depth. It's not a hard concept to understand when you're playing it. It feels really natural, but it starts to make you realize all of these choices that you would take for granted, like, oh, it's my turn, I'm just going to attack with everything. There's a lot of times where the order in which you attack is really important. Or you're going to decide, I'm not going to attack this turn because I really don't want to give them them an extra card. Even though I need to kill them to win the game, and that's the only way I can win the game, I actually don't want to attack them now because I want to give them fewer resources on their next turn to stop what it is I'm trying to do. So I think little things like that really help separate Legends in the space. And again, it's sort of, that's what we at Bethesda like to do. We don't just make shooters that are like everybody else's shooters or role-playing games like everybody else's role-playing games. So we wanted to make a strategy card game that, sure, it might feel familiar or it might look the same, but when you start to play it, it really takes on its own personality and you start to appreciate what it is that we're doing different. That's a little bit unique and not what other folks have done.
Well, thank you so much, Pete. I
Absolutely.
hope you are having a wonderful QuakeCon. I am loving Dallas, so.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you have a great rest of QuakeCon.
Thank you, and thank you for meeting with us.
Yep.